my brothers and sisters in faith, and my equals in humanity, as Imam Ali alayhi salam says. Today we're gathered here to discuss and critically reflect about the importance of taking action and to ensure that our rights as parents and guardians is legally protected. My brothers and sisters, we can't keep our heads buried in the sand anymore. We need to be on the front foot. Whether we like it or not, change is happening. Whether you're bothered to do something or not, change is still going to happen. If you won't teach your children or take time to give to your children, I can guarantee you that YouTube and Facebook and TV, وما بعرف شو, they're the ones that are going to teach your children. No longer is it sufficient enough, my brothers and sisters, to hold our beliefs internally, but shy away when it comes to vocalizing these beliefs externally. All people of faith, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, or whether you're a polytheist, we all have a religious and a moral and an ethical obligation to act against corruption, to enjoin in what is good and to forbid what is evil. Within Islam, we know this concept as al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy 'anil munkar. In order to be considered from amongst the successful ones, al-muflihun. The word al-muflihun is derived from falah. Where do we say that word multiple times in a day, my brothers and sisters? Hayya ala al-falah, hayya ala al-falah in our salah. We say this up to 10 times in a day. I have a very important question that I'd like each and every one of us to ask ourselves internally before we ask anyone else. How can we claim to be from the muflihun if we don't have the nerve and the guts to confront and speak out against injustice and corruption when we see it? In Judaism, in the Jewish tradition, for example, they have a concept known as the Yatsahara. It teaches us the importance of forbidding evil by avoiding the actions that violate the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the will of God. In the Talmud, for example, it confirms the importance of making the right decisions because everything is already predetermined by God, except the person's choice to be either good or bad. We all have a choice. We all have free will. We can exercise our free will. That is not something that is predetermined. That's something from our own volition. Within Christianity, they have the same thing. They have the same injunction to do good. In Romans chapter 12, verse 21, it says, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." So this seemingly universal call to do good and forbid evil, it is also found within polytheistic traditions. For example, the Hindus, they are instructed to live their life by something known as the Dharma, which means good and righteousness, and to avoid evil, which is Adama. By doing so, they increase what they believe is their good karma. My brothers and sisters, listen. Honestly, what use is our profession of faith? We all have a profession of faith, every single one of us. Whether you believe in Jesus, whether you believe in Buddha, whether you believe in Confucius, or whether you believe in Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika la wa ashhadu anna Mohamad Abduhu wa rasuluh. What use is that kalima if we don't act upon it, lest we become from the hypocrites? Fighting for our right to educate our children in line with our religious beliefs and values and remain informed of their education is a fight that we can't win with just mere lip service. We have to take action, and we have to take a collective action, all of us. This includes giving up our wealth, our knowledge, our skills, and any other resources that we have at our disposal to protect our rights. We must be prepared to use everything to help us in this cause. There is a hadith by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri that says, "Whoever amongst you sees an evil, he must change it with his hand. If he can't change it with his hand, then with his tongue. If he can't change it with his tongue, then at least have that change within your heart. That would be the lowest form of faith. As parents and as guardians of children, we wish to raise our children according to our own religious beliefs and our own values. We want to be informed about what the state is teaching them or proposing to teach them, to ensure that what our children learn in school is aligned with our own religious identity, our own beliefs, our own theology. We're not asking for the heavens and the earth to be moved here. It's not a ridiculous claim. It's not a ridiculous request. Just like other people request their rights, we're requesting our rights as well. It's not rocket science. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. I'm about halfway through. I won't be much longer for you guys. My brothers and sisters, the Department of Family and Community Services, it used to be known as DOCS, it's now known as FACS. It supports us in our request. Even on their website, if you go to their website, it says as a parent, you also have rights. The law allows parents to bring up their children according to their own values and beliefs. Decisions such as religion, education, medical intervention and discipline, and where the child lives, it will not be interfered with. The relationship between us and our children is one of a mutual obligation. A mutual obligation means a two-way street. It's not a dictatorship where it's only a one-way. It's give and take. Al-Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, he likened this relationship to the father being the root and the child being the branch. The branch is contingent upon the root for survival. It means that the child is contingent upon the father or the mother, reliant on them. And the responsibilities go the other way as well for parents. We have duties and responsibilities towards our children, apart from just feeding them and clothing them, but also nourishing them and sustaining them, both physically, emotionally, spiritually, and religiously, to succeed not only in this world, but the akhirah as well. This concept, my brothers and sisters, of parental authority, we have a wilaya, so to speak, or we have a guardianship over our children. This parental authority is a universal golden rule. It's enshrined in Jewish and also Christian literature as well. There is a prominent position in the first commandment of the second table of the 10 Commandments where it says, honor thy father and thy mother, that your days belong in the land and that your Lord, your God, is giving you. If we look at the Jewish tradition, for example, in the mitzvahs, it says that God honors us parents because family is the basic building block of society. And family is what gives stability to a community. The stability of a community is directly proportionately related to the stability of the family household. The way that we interact with the government and society is derived from our interactions with our children. And when our children learn lessons such as honoring, respecting and obeying their parents, this will result in a society that is stable enough to promote the development of the insan al-kamil, or the whole person. We as parents have the right to guide our children in a direction that will ensure that they succeed in both worlds. This request, my brothers and sisters, is supported by Article 14 of the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child. It states that parties shall respect the rights and the duties of the parents, and when applicable, to provide direction to the child in the exercise of his or her rights in a manner that is consistent with the evolving capacities of the child. We are endowed, us parents, mothers and fathers, we are endowed with a sacrosanct authority over our children. An authority that includes the right and the duty to educate them after God's commands. All people of good should oppose a state-sanctioned or a state-coerced education that is against our will as parents. In the Christian tradition, for example, the Bible says that God made from one man every nation of mankind to live on the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling place. He gave every son and daughter to their mother and their father. what God has given, let no man put asunder. This means that there is a God-given bond. It's a special tie between the parent and their child, that God has formed this special union. And nobody or nothing on this earth or in the heavens can put that asunder except God who formed it in the first place. Our religious beliefs and our values are central to ensuring that our families and our children achieve their full potential. In Article 26 of the United Nations Declaration, it supports our outlook. It says that education shall be directed to the development of the human personality and to strengthen respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. What are these freedoms, by the way? That's a valid question. These freedoms are safe to say that they include promoting understanding, tolerance, and friendship amongst all people from all walks of life, all skin colors, and all variations and dialects of the tongue. We as believers here are a religious group. We're one of the world's largest group, and we seek nothing but tolerance, respect, and mutual understanding. This is enshrined within the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, and from amongst His signs are the creations of the heaven and the earth, and the diversity of our colors and our tongues. God created us into different people and tribes so that we may come to know one another and appreciate that our differences actually make us closer. This is the epitome of respect and tolerance, as we are all brothers in faith or equals in humanity. And finally, we want policy makers and lawmakers to guarantee us our religious freedoms and our rights and protections under anti-discrimination. We want to be assured and guaranteed of equal protection against any discrimination, and this is also enshrined in Article 7 of the UN Declaration of Human Rights. All are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. All are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination. My brothers and sisters, finally, we must remember that the greatest right is not our right over our children or our children's right over us. It's God's right upon us. God's right upon us encompasses us in every movement. Our children are a amana. Our children are a trust that is given to us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And God's right upon us stretches from the tip of our hair on our scalp to the bottom of our toes. We must be mindful and never forget that our wealth and our children, they are a trust that is given to us on this earth, and we must uphold our responsibility towards our children and ensure that we give them the tools necessary to succeed in this life and the next. Otherwise, if we don't, my brothers and sisters, there is a very severe consequence in place, because we fail ourselves. We have failed on our promise and on our responsibility. On the day in which our limbs and eyes and tongue will testify against us, let us be in a position where we have done everything that we can to be responsible parents and make sure that our children succeed in this life and the next. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.